Hey guys, Ginger Shell here. I have invited one of my former students to answer a few questions about GT Bootcamp because I thought that might be helpful to some people who are considering enrolling, but they want to get more information first. So, hi Anna.
Hi Ginger.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great today. Thank you so much for setting this up.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a few little questions first. So first of all, where are you located?
I live in Southeast Oklahoma, just 8 miles north of Texas.
Okay. Oh, so you have a decent weather most of the time, right? Or does it get really hot?
Most of the time, it's 102 today. Like,
oh, that's pretty hot. I'm in South Carolina though, so I mean I know hot weather.
It's July. What am I going to do? If that's the trade-off for not having blizzards in the winter, that's fine with me.
Exactly. I agree. Okay, so how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 50. I turned 56 this year.
Okay, so you're close to my age. I would say that most of the people who enroll in my program are somewhere between 45 and 65 years old. So you're right in the middle of
Cool.
my average age group.
Yay. The wisdom has finally hit us. That's why.
Yes. Okay, so tell me a little bit about you first. Tell me some about your, maybe your family, your background, that kind of stuff.
So my professional background, I have 35 years of experience in legal help desk support. So over the phone, in person, I've been an instructor for that specific job, teaching people how to be a help desk analyst, but it's specifically for lawyers. 35 years, I mean, it's mind-boggling, but I started before there were computers and actually put the first computer on a lawyer's desk and
wow,
convince them it's not a paperweight, come on, let's get with technology. And
right.
One of my favorite stories is that I was pitching them to do a network. I was living in Connecticut at the time, so we had an office in New Haven, Hartford, and Stamford, and I knew networking, and the internet was going to do something. And I remember pitching them saying, we need to set up an email system. And they were like, oh, clients are never going to want to email, like never. And this was, there was only AOL, so they couldn't even fathom. And now just look at it, 30 years later, where everything is email and everything is on a phone. And, it's mind blowing. So
email is it's the foundation of if you said I could not email anymore, I would have to think a few minutes about how to run my business, because I do just everything through email.
Right. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so so you did that for 35 years and
still doing it. Yeah.
Still doing it. And then one day something called GT Bootcamp comes across your eyes. So tell me about that.
So a little prelude to that, I'm in that weird window where I'm not old enough to really retire yet, but I can't do another Windows upgrade. I'm so burned out of this job. I'm good at it, it's easy, I get paid well, but it doesn't fill my soul anymore. Okay. And I have 5 acres and it's a lot for one person to take care of. So, time freedom has always been how do I get there? So over the past couple of years, I had taken a couple of other courses that were quite expensive. And went into it, with every intention of, going after it and making it work and trying it. And I just, it also it started to feel like, well, this is just another job I'm giving myself. I might as well just stay at the law firm thing.
Right.
Because this is not making me happy. So I kind of put it on the burner. And then I did your mini course. I saw the thing on Facebook, where it says, try this to see if you have what it takes. And I was just like, oh, this is doable. So then I signed up for the course and let's talk about how awesome this is, because first of all, it's so different than the other courses, like I said, that I've taken online stuff. I had been trained by the people who run courses, right? You're going to get 900 videos that you're going to have to watch, and then you're going to have to download this piece of paper and fill out this stuff, you know, and it's just effort and time. It takes a long time to go through some of those courses.
Mhm.
So when I got yours, and then, you know, I got the foot pedal, and I got the headset, and I got the book, and
Okay, just to be clear, I sent those things to you. You didn't have to buy those things before you enrolled. I sent them to you.
absolutely. And I have the box here. It's just I use it as a monitor rest sometimes. So yeah,
Okay.
no, that was really exciting. I also didn't have a laptop, but I had located one from a student who decided that transcription wasn't for her. So it was
Uh-huh.
brand new. So I bought it from her, and it was,
Nice.
that saved me a lot of money.
Mhm.
Because that was the other thing too up front of, you know, how much more money is this going to cost me on top of the course to do this? And,
Mhm.
you know, I last August I had actually incorporated, I set up my business, and, you know, under the assumption that I was going to move forward with that other company. And, you know, and they kind of led it to be that you have to do all this formal stuff first. So it was there, you know, it's sitting. And then when I got the course, I'm like, I didn't even need to do that. Oh, good grief. But I had it. So I had the structure in place.
Right.
So yeah. So ask me questions about the course, or I'll just keep talking.
Okay. Okay. When you, how, from the beginning, people who are thinking about enrolling, what they think about transcription and how it works and how money is made and what kind of skills are required, usually their mindset or their understanding of that changes dramatically by the end of module 1.
Yeah.
So tell me what you thought you were getting into as opposed to what it ended up being.
So I thought, well, similar to you, back in like 15 years ago, I tried medical transcription, and it exploded my head. Like, no. Oh, because I had, sorry, backstory. I had moved from Atlanta to Oklahoma, and I still had my job in Atlanta. So I thought, oh, I'm living in the country. FedEx knows where I live. I have direct deposit. You know, this is perfect. And then one day I got laid off, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Oklahoma. Like, there's nothing here.
Why did I think this was a good idea?
Oh my God, yes. And all my friends were like, why the heck Oklahoma? I'm like, you know, you marry a cowboy, you move to Oklahoma. That's the only thing I can make sense of. So then that's when I started, I tried the medical transcription, because it's like, you know, there's nothing around here. I ended up commuting 90 miles to Dallas, Texas every day, back and forth for 4 years to work at a law firm, because the money justified it, but I didn't want to live in Dallas. So, you know, but I didn't want to do that again. So my unique position of having a broad skill set of language and typing and computers and, you know, all that stuff. I type fast. I had gone to business school after high school, so I knew shorthand. I thought, well, that's a similar skill, you know, that might come into play. So I really didn't understand, you know, what it was. And I knew that I typed okay, fast enough. Well, I do it for my job. So I wasn't really sure what the transcription part was. You know, I know closed captioning and transcripts, you know, from videos and stuff. And I thought, well, maybe it's something to do like that. And sure enough, it was like, cool. And I loved that the emphasis was not on skill drills. You know, I think in the beginning, that was my safe place. Like, I would do typing tests every day, just because, you know, because they were there and it made me feel successful, like I was doing something. And the same thing with the grammar. And then, oh, I crashed and burned because the things that we were taught, or that we think, I mean, how long has it been since high school and grammar school? And then plus the general world, you know, you start to speak differently, and you forget rules of grammar and rules of punctuation. And it is very different when speaking versus putting it into print form.
Right.
So that's, to me, that was the big eye opener. And how well you can learn it in your course, like, so without making yourself crazy.
Going into it, did you think that you had strong grammar, spelling, punctuation, capitalization skills, and you were like, oh, this part will be easy for me?
Yeah, because as my, my job as a help desk analyst, I write tickets, I write documentation, I'm sending emails, to a very high level industry who expect, accuracy and professionalism. So I thought that was a strength that I was coming in with. And I think it was. And I got tripped up a little bit of like, oh, wait a minute, I'm going back to third grade again. Oh, come on.
Right.
But one of the things that you say, is you don't know what you don't know. And what I appreciated about the course is that it didn't make me feel badly about it. Like I was going down that path of beating, oh, well, why can't I understand the comma in the compound sentence,
Mm-hmm.
And, speaking with you on a coaching call, it was like, but I think you even put it in there. It's like, look, guys, it's not that you have to memorize this. It's like, know where your weaknesses are, and keep a list and
right.
and flag it in your head thinking, okay, I'm always going to have to look this up. And that was so freeing to me because it was like, good, because like, I don't really want to be an English teacher,
Right.
So
can you give me an example of how the importance of knowing the punctuation and no, let me change that. What is the difference between just sitting down and writing a letter to someone and making sure you use proper punctuation and all that versus listening to an audio file and trying to put what they said down in written form accurately? How did the course help you understand the importance of that and how to develop that skill?
Well, there's an exercise actually in the course that takes or you put in, a very simple sentence, and it can be punctuated 5 different ways, and it can change the meaning of it, 5 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start listening to an audio file and you can't see the person's face, especially, and all you're hearing is inflection or pauses, it's a skill that you have to learn, I think, as a transcriptionist, to understand it. Was that a real pause? Were they just taking a breath? How does it fit in the sentence? Like when you're typing it, like, do you really need 5 commas in this because they had a long pause, when they were speaking?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was one of the valuable things that I learned of how to listen to something, how to slow the playback down, or speed it up sometimes to understand what's being said clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the overall hearing it and capturing it, as accurately as we can to reflect, so that one of my things always has been in tickets and documentation. From my documentation, you should be able to tell everything that happened from beginning to end. Like there should be no guesswork, right?
Right.
So what I strive for in my transcripts is that I send it to the author or the speaker, and it matches exactly, like what they said, the way they were feeling, what they were trying to convey, the emphasis on certain things. And so I like that. I like when I nail it, it feels
nice.
so good. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So people who are watching this may not understand what we're talking about, but inside the program are actual practice files. So you would listen to a file, you would use your foot pedal and playback software. And as you listen to it, you would transcribe it into a template. And then when you finish the transcript, what happened next?
Then what did we send them to you to go over? Yeah. And I think I did. I tried to. Oh, it's so funny though, that even from where I am now, to go back and think, well, what was student mode really like,
Yeah.
Because I was so scared in the beginning. I didn't want to fail and spend all this money on another thing that I wasn't going to do. So,
Right.
I'm firstborn. I'm a Taurus, so like I'm determined. I'm loyal as heck. But when I say something and I'm going to do it, especially for my life, I want to do it.
Right.
So I think I had actually misread the instructions, which is don't do that. Like they're clear. And I did 5 or 6 audio files first, and then we, she was like, Ginger, like you bleep. Okay. So I think I had done 5 or 6 audio files before even reaching out to you. And then I got clarification. It's like, no, we can, just do one and get on a coaching call with me and we'll review. And I remember I had gotten so fancy pants, right? Thinking, I'm going to use bold for this word, and I'm going to use underline for this word, and I'm going to italicize that word and then I'm going to bold capital, something that I thought was really important. And and I was so proud of myself. And then you started saying, well, okay, like what? You got to be consistent. Why are you doing all these 3 different things? I'm like, I don't know. So,
but once formatting matters.
Yeah. And once I learned it, that was another huge weight off my shoulder, because you can learn the skills that I learned from the course are that I do have the ability to do it. It's not difficult. There's a lot to it, and you have to pay attention and focus, but really, once you understand the process and you do it a couple of times and you keep improving, which is another thing. I'll never be perfect, until I'm somewhere else, but
me either.
I can strive to improve every day,
right.
And that's the focus. And that's the other thing too, is that I appreciated about the course, is that the encouragement and don't give up. And remember, it's not just going to happen overnight. And one of my favorite analogies is, you don't go outside and put seeds in the ground and then go out the next day and expect to, harvest your corn and broccoli.
Right.
It doesn't happen that way.
Right.
And that we'll talk about that when it comes to the business part too. But yeah, no. And the one thing I might as well say it here, the course is it's not intimidating. I mean, it's so clearly laid out, the modules and the references, and I could bookmark things. So like, oh yeah, I have that. Okay, I can go there. So even during practice files, I could use the resources in the course to do it. And it wasn't all Google everything, Google has its place, but the steps and the process. And I remember it was about six or 7 weeks in, and I thought, it can't be this easy. Like, I have to be missing something. I'm totally missing a chunk of this, because like I could do this now. And it was a relief, but it was a strange feeling, again, compared to other courses that I've taken that were so convoluted and complicated and challenging. This one was challenging, but it was in a good way. And the other thing that I really appreciated when I first started was that I could start right then. Like, I didn't need the foot pedal to start the course, right? I think it took like a week to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to do it, and you made it easy, and you made everything, it's like it's literally right in front of you, go step by step by step. And I just thought, why didn't I do this last year?
I love that. Okay, so we may skip around, but let's skip forward a little bit. You how long did it take you to go from, I think I'm going to enroll, or let's skip that, from enrolling to being ready to start looking for paid work? And what was the decision point for you? See, because a lot of courses will give you an exam, and when you pass the exam, you start looking for work.
Right.
My program does not work that way.
Right.
My program is, we work together until I see that you're ready to start looking for work and you feel good about looking for work, and you start there.
Right.
Some people knock it out in 1 month. Some people take longer. So where are you on that spectrum? And what was the moment where you said, okay, I'm ready to start looking for paid work?
I think it took me about 2 months, maybe just a hair over. It wasn't that long. And keep in mind, I'm still working 40 hours a week, and my brain gets tired,
You're a go-getter. I love it.
It's yeah. So, I took it, but I paced myself. But what I found was that once I started like in earnest, I would look forward to it. Like, the time that I would block for my GT practice stuff was like sacred. Like, I turn off the phone, and one of the apps that is recommended, yeah, like I lost Candy Crush lives left and right for like a solid week, because I just didn't play. I was doing this.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, and that was the other thing exciting to me about transcription in general transcription for real, like not legal and not medical and certificates and all another expense that you need to do. And that was nice. But looking forward to it, like that's when I knew this is what I want to do. Because like even just to do the practice files, I got so excited about, okay, my week is over now, I get to do this. It's not I have to do this now. I get to do what I want to do. So
nice.
Cool.
Nice.
And then as far as being ready for work, I felt comfort and safety still staying in student mode and doing stuff. And I think our second coaching call, because I had a friend who is a podcaster who knew I was taking the course, and he was like, are you done with that yet? Like, I want to pay you to do this. I'm like, oh God, I don't even know. And we spoke, we had a coaching call, and I had done a transcription sample for another potential client. And we looked at that one together. That was so gracious of you, because it really helped me know that, yeah, I'm
on the right track.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it was interesting, your reaction, because to me, it was formatted the way that I do most things, and thankfully having the Word background helped me out a lot there, fixing documents and understanding styles and header, footer, then I'll never forget that stuff. So it's like, oh, good, I still get to use my word skills.
Right.
But it's
when you say Word, do you mean Microsoft Word?
Yes, Microsoft Word.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, so I remember when you looked at it, just like, oh, this is formatted so differently than what I'm used to do, because it's a different niche, right?
But I also said I liked it. It was totally fine that it was different.
Yep. Yeah, no, you were very positive about it. And again, when we were going through it, you gave me a really nice compliment of, compared to the first one that we had gone through and this one, like you could see the consistency, and you could see that I was paying that, punctuation. I think there was a couple of, one-offs that I had missed that we talked about, and you had said, well, I could see it both ways. I mean, it was a good collaborative review. Awesome. And I remember at the end of that, you said, I'd send it, go for it. And I did, and I got paid. So.
Once you decided you were ready to start getting paid work, how did you decide between looking for a transcription job versus getting your own clients?
Because I already have a job, right? For me, I mean, honestly, that's the thing. I have a W-2 paying job. I don't want to go from this job to another job working for somebody else. So that was the big one. The other thing was that I know, even from some things that I've seen on the internet and other transcripts, it's like, the quality is just it's not there. And knowing that I already add value with not only my personal skills with Microsoft Word and, formatting, but then the skills that I've learned in boot camp, it's like, I'm not giving that away for free. I'm not going to give that away for $2 an audio a minute. No. Or, if I would get lucky enough to get that.
Oh, you would not get $2 an audio a minute working for most of the transcription companies. Yeah. That would be on the high end.
Yeah. So, no. So that's why I went the business route instead, looking for clients. And then the other thing,
go ahead.
No. So then I got, I was never interested in doing sermon transcripts. So honestly, up front, it was like, oh, I don't have to do the sermon stuff. It's like, oh, good. Yeah, no, you can. And then, we would discuss the amount of.
Okay, now back up a second. Why would you think you had to do, where did it ever come into your head that you might have to do sermons?
Because you did it.
But it's a general transcription course.
Well, I understand that, but it's like, well, she's successful, and you follow what people do to be successful. And maybe I took it a little too literally.
Okay, keep going.
So so when we discussed the amount of different formats out there, I also came up with my own creative thing, that I'm not going to go for the low hanging fruit Like I had clients in mind that I know personally that I have worked with, have meetings with, membership in other areas and other mastermind things. So I know a lot of people who have a lot of podcasts and videos and these new online TV shows and Facebook lives, and to me, that was just like, oh, the sky's all open. I'm like, all of that can be transcribed and should
That's
be.
right. That's
and it
right.
can be transcribed beautifully,
That's right.
And it's interesting because now I've changed well, when we get to the contact thing now, in my little blurb, reaching out to ask people, if they're interested, I'm kind of like bullet pointing why, what other clients of mine are doing. They're capturing their live content for use in a future book or for research.
Mhm.
And, and then the second bullet point is for those who English is not a first language and who may, have difficulties hearing. And so I make sure that those are in there because it was funny. Another friend who I had actually approached who does a podcast with 3 other women, she said, I never thought about that. I'm like, well, good. So
that's what I hear all the time with my business. They'll say, so what kind of business do you have? It's a sermon transcription business. No, usually I say a transcription business, and they'll say, oh, you mean like for doctors? Or,
right.
Oh, you mean like for the lawyers? And I say, no, most of my clients are pastors. And they're like, pastors, what do you mean? Well, they send us their sermons, we transcribe them, and then they share the transcripts with their congregation, post them on their website, turn them into books. And literally every time people say, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And they like it. It's kind of with a smile on their faces, like, what a cool thing.
And then it opens up a whole other dialogue of, then they come back. Do any of your clients use it like for social media, like marketing? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll keep an eye out,
Yeah, exactly.
That's certainly something you can do. Once you have it in written form, you can do anything with it, and it's like, it just, and so many people too, as well, especially with podcasters that, they don't read from a script. So yeah, they can go back and hear it, right? They can re-listen to it, but I look at it as they're also a business owner and they're either a coach or doing whatever. And, that's their time too. I mean,
exactly.
If I need to throw in a little how to search Microsoft Word guide with my transcript, that I got that anyway,
Right.
Control F, put in the word, hit enter.
Right.
When did I last talk about this? When did, has it been 6 months? Should I do this one again? That kind of stuff. And that's where a lot of people are seeing the value in this, which just fills my heart with joy.
Awesome. Okay. So, let's see, what else do I want to ask you? When you started your business, you decided, okay, I'm going to start my own business. How did GT Bootcamp or I help you in that process?
Well, the GT Bootcamp community actually, the private community that we have in Facebook was so supportive and gave me a little family place, it's a warm hug. I can go there, right? It's like, guys, I think I might have a client, just
right.
getting that pat on the back kind of feeling. But no, I mean, and then what I appreciated once I formally officially finished the course, I mean, I can go back and still work on it now, which is wonderful. I still love that. The permanent access that we have, that I think it's really important, because a lot of some courses you lose it after a year, you don't have lifetime access. So that's really big. Being able to have a coaching call with you even after, I've technically finished, or being able to reach out to you, that's invaluable. So, and I don't feel bad. Like, I don't feel like I'm taking time from somebody else,
Right. What about the Q&As?
I love the Q&As.
For people who don't know what I mean, once a week, we have a Zoom call just like this, and any students can join the Q&A and ask any questions they have. So talk about your experience with the weekly Q&As. That
was great. I was nervous, but me, I tend to start talking without even having anything in mind. But that was valuable, just meeting other students and being able to see where I was personally, in comparison with them as far as my development, my growth. And I like the questions that are brought up there that I had never thought of that, or questions that I had never had. But, it's that stuff you can never really put that in the course, because it's so specific to a situation or,
Exactly.
And I learned a lot about using, some other Google tools to locate email addresses and, develop a contact list of who I want to reach out to propose, business work with. That's where the weekly Q&As really come in handy. And then they're not only for, people who are doing business owner stuff.
Right.
I like, the other thing is the encouragement that, when you say, when did you find your first paying client? Well, my first client, I got paid $226.
For how long? For how much work?
It was 2 transcripts. It was probably the length.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how much you made per audio minute, but we're probably getting too technical at this point. Just skip it and go ahead and stick with your point.
It was $275 an audio minute, but okay.
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear. $275 an audio. That's awesome.
Right,
okay, go aheed.
So and she was thrilled with it, and then went a different direction because her business is going in a different direction. But she knows the quality of what I do. She has my name, she has transcripts, and I expect her fully to reach back out to me, when she's ready, which is fine.
Right.
But the perfectionist in me said, well, you only made $200. I'm like, that was $200 you just didn't have before. So
right.
Don't sneeze at that. And don't sneeze either at the fact that you've done it, that you can now say you are a professional transcriptionist, because you are. And after you get the first one, again, I would love to just, be able to make $5,000 a month and tell my day job, bye-bye, but I know it's going to come. Again, it goes back to my garden thing. I wish there was, I actually don't. I'm glad that there's not just a floodgate open and I get, then because, getting overwhelmed. It would be
overwhelming.
Absolutely. So, but I'm very encouraged, every one that I do, gives me more encouragement. I mean, because I know the transcription part, I got down. To me now, I'm solid with that skill set. I understand it. I have resources that I know where to go. If I get questions, I always have you guys, I have you. So that part is now easy. And growing the business, of course, is a whole nother learning experience, but I'm still enjoying that. So again, going back to do I look forward to it? Yeah, it's not, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that. So, but anyway, back to the Q&As. I like when more than, just 1 or 2 people are there.
Me too.
I like the room full going around. So, yeah.
Okay. So, I'm trying to think of the most important things people would want to know who have never heard of you or me. Go ahead.
No. So back to when I decided to join, the first time, so when I could only afford to do the express, it was a financial limitation. And then I forget when it was this year or over the end of the year, you change it and you offered the monthly payment plans. And I'm like, oh, I can totally do this now. So that's when I jumped in. But I had not been able to do it, to justify it, especially after having burned money on, these other things in the past. So thank you for that. That was such a graceful way to be able to make it available to somebody like me who was totally like jumping in their seat, ready to go. And I just couldn't afford to make the full payment at once. So,
right. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So somebody who is watching this right now, they're, maybe they're on the fence, they're thinking about it, but they're just not sure. What would you tell them about the transcription field in general and about GT Bootcamp or me? Okay,
so the transcription field in general it's, we talk about it a lot in our weekly question and answers. There's literally digital content put out every minute, on the internet and TV, and well, take away TV. We'll start again. There's literally
TV can be there. TV's out there. That can be in there for sure. TV and radio.
Oh, awesome. Good. Okay. So the digital content that's being created every single minute, that's just there for the transcribing, if you will. I think it's there for the transcript. We're there for the transcribing. It's just, to me, it's a wide open opportunity, and does allow a lot of creativity with how you approach it. Oh, what I wanted to mention also was, when I decided to run my own business, and this is something else that you stress a lot, is that you work for people that you want to work for. You don't have to work for people that that you don't really get along with, or you don't like the way they speak. You don't have to do it.
You don't like what they talk about, or the kind of language they use.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if they're too difficult to hear, just because, and old Anna saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. Right.
I can do it. What, do I want to? No.
Right.
If I absolutely had to, yeah, okay, I might. But if it were up to me, so it's funny, I made a list of so my current broadcast is for anything uplifting. That's my requirement.
Nice.
I haven't even picked, a sub genre of that, but I thought to myself, you're going to listen to it anyway. If you're going to listen to it, you might as well have good words going into your brain.
Right.
Exactly. Finger,
Exactly.
So that it's worked. I like it. So maybe that's also part of the excitement of doing it, but there's so much content that's good. And these are, such sweethearted people, and soul filled with their message. It's like, oh, I just want to serve, I want to help them, and still meet what my goals are. So that helps me not to feel salesy, like when I need to approach them or something. I mean, it's totally offering them a benefit that they may not have considered, or showing them what the auto-generated captioning or transcript does to your perfect content. It's like, if I had only listened or watched you and didn't have that transcript open, I would have been, I would adore it. But because I had the transcript open, it looks so unprofessional and so hard to follow that I kind of turned you off like halfway through.
Right.
And they never think of it that way, so it'll be interesting to see in the next few years how that evolves or changes. I don't think, as far as longevity of transcription, I really don't see automated transcription.
It cannot do what we do.
Trumping people. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, it cannot do what we do.
Yeah. And not to the quality that we can do, which is a testament to the camp, boot camp. Because you definitely teach us the importance of quality, and it's not how fast you can type, and it's not how fast you can spill the words into the document. So what, that's AI can do that.
Right.
What do we do? So yeah.
Right.
What was the other question?
What advice would you give someone who's on the fence?
Oh, on the fence. If you really, if you're on the fence, at least take the mini express class, because that it gives, I went literally from that into the program, because it was more affordable. It was short. It gave me, I was surprised. When I joined the course, how closely it matched. Like it literally was like a preview of the course. So definitely do that. But if you're considering it and you're not sure if you can, anyone can do it. Anyone with research skills and who pays attention, and, and you don't have to do it to run a business. You can go and get a job, and you can even just be a contractor and have multiple clients, but that is consistent work. So if the idea of running a business scares you, don't let that,
Right.
But if you're somebody like me who's burnt out with your day gig and still has to fill a gap of financial security for another decade or two before I can actually stop, try it. I mean, it is so rewarding to learn, and it's not hard to learn. That's the other thing too. Yes, there are rules that you have to review and you have to be accurate, but it's not difficult because we all learned language at some point. It's
more about finding your blind spots than it is about learning new skills.
Absolutely. You know that there's a picture that goes around that on the front side, it's a beautiful carpet tapestry. And then on the back side, you see all of the messy, that's kind of how I feel what we do. We might have gone this way and this way and this way to get to where we are. But where we are, we're the pretty perfectly formatted, professional looking document. It's like, yeah.
Nice.
And then too, if you keep doing it, you get better at it.
And faster, which means you have more free time.
Well, and then you either get more free time. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so there are other transcription programs out there. Why would you encourage somebody to choose this one or my program over others?
Well, your accessibility, like direct accessibility, your responsiveness is huge. Like I said, compared to other courses that I've taken, I could never get in touch with the course owner. I was sent to like the little waiting room, and then there would be like supervisor people that would filter. It's like, wow, I just paid you money for this course. So your accessibility is huge. And the resources, I mean, honestly, yeah. And like, how can you afford to send everybody the foot pedal? And it's like, oh,
well, is there anything lacking?
I don't think so.
Think about it for a second.
Is there anything lacking from the course?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little certificate of I did this. We could print
a t-shirt.
Yes, I got my, and I have my.
That's right. You got a sticker.
Yeah, it came in the kit.
I don't know. I don't give away certificates because if there's one thing about my program that I think everyone recognizes is there's no fluff. From start to finish, every single thing you do inside the program matters. I don't give you pointless videos to watch, pointless exercises to do. Every single thing you do is important and it matters, and it will help you out there in the real world when you're either looking for a job or you're looking for your own clients. And to me, I think a certificate can give a false sense of preparedness that isn't necessarily true. Right. And that piece of paper will not help you get a job, and it will not help you get your own clients. So that's why I've shied away from that. But
well, and to just to follow up on that, that's another thing. Your course is so student focused. Like there's very little in there about you. Like there's no ego thing. You don't have, your face popping up here and there. Just, you don't. It's all student focused, and it's all. And it is very well organized and laid out. We start here and then we build onto here and then we do this. And then here's a practice file, so you can kind of see where you are after doing, steps 1 through 5. Now try this. How does it feel? If it doesn't feel good, let's go back and you can review. I mean, it's like the roadmap. It's genius. It's just good job.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I am so glad you enrolled in my program. I have not only enjoyed watching you go from, I'm scared, why did I think I was good at this? I probably should, what was I thinking, to literally having your first client and making money within a couple of months.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And that from my perspective, that's very exciting. And of course, I don't know how you feel, but you're a friend. To me, you're a friend now. You're not just a former student, you're a friend. And I love that. So
I feel exactly the same way. Yeah. I wish I lived closer, but
I do too.
Road trips are possible. So we'll see.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for taking the time to talk with me and to other people who may be considering enrolling in GT Boot Camp. And for those of you watching this, if you are interested in learning more about GT Boot Camp, all you have to do is go to www.gtbootcamp.com/learn-more. And you can learn all about it. Obviously, you can send me a private message if you see this on Facebook, or you can send me an email if you want to do that. My email address is ginger@gtbootcamp.com. All right, I think that's it. Anna, any closing words?
Nope.
Okay.
Looking forward to the next Q-Day. Oh yeah, the last closing word is after you complete the course, you are always still welcome to the weekly sessions. I love that. Like,
Do you still learn stuff in the Q&As, or is it just, are you just there to listen?
Both. I still learn stuff. I know. I totally learn. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ginger.
Anna. Bye.
Bye.